Yeah, he has some Planeswalkers. He has 1 Jace, 1 Tameo, 2 Gideon. Oh, I'm sorry, he has 3 Jace, 1 Memory Adept, 2 Architect.
Sure.
He has the standard draw spells, the Sphinx's Revelations, the Think Twices, the Lingering Souls, Murder, Ultimate Price. Interesting 4 Snapcaster Mage.
Yeah. Something you don't really see in lots of the Esper control decks. All right, so they're off. Eric led off with a Hollow Fountain. Rich didn't have a turn 1 play other than just a Temple Garden. Now, Rich really wants to get a turn 1 Absence Pilgrim so he could ramp into a Loxodon Smiter or Boros Reckoner.
But this game, though, he kind of has a slower draw. Didn't know what Eric was playing, and he's going to be a little upset about his keep now that he finds out he's playing Esper.
Exactly. So maybe he has a turn 2 Burning Tree Emissary. Maybe he has a Flint Horribore. We'll see what happens. So he's tapping 2 mana. Is it the Boar? Is it the Emissary into the Boar? That can be pretty nice.
Yeah. Yep, there it is.
So he has 2 mana in his pool. And this is the play we're talking about. So he's got a turn 2 4/4 Mountain Walker in the form of Volcanic Strength. Eric's going to end the turn, play a Think Twice. He's going to untap, lay his 3rd land here, and it's going to be a Lingering Souls. All right, so this is going to buy Eric a lot of time. He's going to be able to chump block if he wants to. Next turn he can flash it back if he needs to. So it doesn't look too good for Rich right now, but we'll see what happens. It's still early in the game.
Exactly, and this just showcases the power of Lingering Souls. It's been a card that hasn't seen that much play in Standard recently, but if this kind of deck gets back into favor, the build-your-own monster type of deck, wow, is it good.
It definitely made a big splash at Pro Tour Hawaii. Pro Tour Dark Ascension it was.
Right.
Yeah. All right, so we'll see what Rich does right here. So the Burning Tree's going to attack for 4 points of damage, and Eric's just going to jump, save himself from life. He really wants to conserve his life total and make the game go as long as possible.
Yeah, he definitely does. And, it seems like, hey, maybe I can take 4, I'm at 20, but at the same time, with this many sweepers in your deck, you just want to stay at 20.
Yeah, there's no need not to chump block there. It's not like Rich has a Planeswalker down anyway.
Right.
Or he's not really putting a lot of Planeswalker that he wants to attack back.
So Ghost Council drawn for Eric.
Yeah.
And this draw for him looks excellent. He has 5 lands, all the mana to cast his spells, some of the most powerful cards in the matchup too, Ghost Council and Lingering Souls.
All right, so he's flashing back Lingering Souls. Rich on his turn dropped the Boros Reckoner. Now, these creatures are really good, but they're not really doing too much against Eric right now. Eric does have the Souls to chump block, and eventually Eric's probably going to have a Wrath effect.
Right. Oh, that's interesting. Rich has a Kessig Wolfrun in hand, so if he wants to, he can activate that on his 4/4, get in for a lot.
Yeah, definitely. Making a 5/4 Trampler is something really important, and I think that's exactly what he's going to do here. I think if Eric doesn't have a Wrath effect, he just has to triple block the Boros Reckoner.
Then he can just give it first strike.
Sure, but I mean, it still ties up his mana, and he only has
1 red source.
Yeah, but he could just use a white actually. Yeah, so that would have been a bad play. I mean, either way, it's
So there, we were talking about Kessig Wolfrun during round 1 instead of Gabney Township. It sure is a heck of a lot better this game.
Sure. So Rich does exactly that. He gives this guy trample, +1/+0, and trample here.
So Rich takes 3 from the Reckoner and 4 from the Emissary, dropping into 13. And Eric, really needs a Supreme Verdict. Has to pull the trigger on it if he has it.
Instead he shows a Snapcaster Mage. Yeah, that's really odd that he's playing 4 Snapcaster Mages.
Yeah, he doesn't have that many instants to flash back.
Yeah, he really doesn't. And he doesn't even have Restoration Angels to kind of use it again.
Right.
I wouldn't really mind Restoration Angel in his deck, especially with like Ghost Council.
Ooh, that's a nice combo with Ghost Council.
Yeah, it's pretty nice, yeah. Alright, there's a Godless Shrine. Eric's paying 2 life.
And here it comes.
Was it
Ghost
Tameo?
Council himself.
Oh, Ghost Council, okay, sure.
So life total is 13 to 18 in favor of Rich.
Now, can Eric attack with anything, do you think, or no?
Well, those tokens won't be doing too much blocking.
Yeah.
I would probably leave at least 1 back, probably even both.
I think leaving 1 back is fine, because leaving 1 back means that if Rich attacks with the Embassy, the Emissary, he has to use his Wolf Run to give a trample, so it kind of wastes his turn.
Exactly. So we'll see what Rich can do about this Ghost Council. If you're just joining us now, I'm Zach Hall, he's Gerard Fabiano, and we're coming to you live from Star City Games Open Series here in Edison. We're in round 3 of the standard portion.
Yeah, so I see Rich has a Thragtusk in his hand. I see a Restoration Angel, a Sacred Foundry, and a Mizium Mortars. So the Mizium Mortars is not really going to do too much.
No, I would probably just trade off my 5/4 and slam a Tusk. Oh, but he would have to pump the mana into that to even make it a 5/4.
I think he should just attack with a Boros Reckoner. I think he should lay land first, though. I think he should just play like Sacred Foundry untapped. But Rich is taking this line. I mean, this play's fine too. I think if I was Eric, I would just block the 4/4, yeah.
Yeah, definitely want to tie up Rich's mana for the turn. You don't want him dropping another fatty since you don't have a Wrath effect yet.
Yeah, and I think Rich just wants to pump his mana just to trade off with the Ghost Council. And then play Sacred Foundry untapped. No, I'm sorry. Play Sacred Foundry tapped, and then just pass the turn.
Yeah, that seems good. I definitely like playing the Sacred Foundry tapped. It seems like your life total is not really relevant if you're rich, but those Lingering Souls, they can add up eventually.
Yeah. Yeah, and he also wants to get his 5th land down so he has access next turn, if he draws a red source, to overload Mizium Mortars.
Right. So yep, there's the land, and he'll pass. Eric Pettinari, no more souls in his graveyard. Only has Snapcaster, land, Snapcaster, and was that a Gideon?
Yeah, I'm not sure his hand exactly. Yeah, Gideon's up to the bait. They're not really too sure how good Gideon is.
I haven't been too impressed with him, but at the same time, we're only 1 week into the standard format.
So there's a main phase flashback, Think Twice. Any reason why he main phased the Think Twice flashback there? Can you see his hand?
Yeah, I'm not sure why. He only has Snapcasters and Gideon in hand. I would rather play that trying to hit a Terminus.
Alright, so Rich draws his 2nd Mizium Mortars. Mizium Mortars, not really too good in this type of matchup. Something like a Boros Charm just would be better here, you know, make you guys indestructible, go to the head.
Right.
Just give one of you guys double strike and kill him out of nowhere.
So it looks like Rich, since he didn't activate the Wolf Run, he's just going to slam a Thragtusk.
Yeah, definitely playing Thragtusk here is good. Alright, so Rich is going to gain 5 life and put down another threat.
The clapping in the background, you hear a lot of lights just got turned on in this place. I think we finally have full power back.
Yeah, the snowstorm cut off most of the power. So there's another Think Twice from Eric at the end of Rich's turn. And Eric draws his card for the turn.
And it's a Hallowed Fountain, I think, so no help. I don't think he has any Wrath effects, unless he's drawn one in the last turn.
Yeah, he's really looking for a Supreme Verdict here.
He does play the full 4.
Yeah. Alright, so Eric plays his 7th land off camera.
Oh, there it is.
And there's a Supreme Verdict.
So he did draw it in time. Must have been off the Think Twice. But it's not all bad, because Rich has a 3/3 Beast.
Yeah. So Rich will get a 3/3 Beast into play. And Eric's probably going to just pass the turn, which he does. So, I mean, this game still looks really good for Rich. Just because Eric's has such a low life total.
Right, and this Kessig Wolf Run is really going to put the pressure on him here.
Yeah.
He can just attack for 5. Oh, maybe not.
There's a Snapcaster. Wow, okay, so Eric just plays a Snapcaster, and then he blocks. Now Rich should just definitely give his guy Trample. I was going to say, if Eric just had mana open, I just wouldn't even pump my guy. But now Eric just plays a Snapcaster. I really don't like this play at all.
No, I don't see what this does, because this is just getting Wolf Run.
Yeah, it actually makes you take more damage.
Right.
Yeah. And he lost a Snapcaster. So it just really makes no sense here. So Eric's going on to 3 life, I believe.
Eric on 3, Richard on 17. Eric needs to come up with something to deal with this Beast token, but more importantly, that Kessig Wolf Run.
Yeah, I mean, this is where these Esper decks really want like a Pithy Needle on the sideboard to stop something like Kessig Wolf Run or Gavany Township.
Wow, and Snapcaster Mage has to just flashback Supreme Verdict.
Sure. So now Eric might have thought that it was saving him damage playing the Snapcaster, but A, he lost the Snapcaster, B, he's still on 3 life, and now he's in range of just a Restoration Angel or like a Searing Spear.
Right.
If Rich played Searing Spear in his deck.
So Rich will drop Thragtusk, go up to 22. More importantly, though, that's going to put Eric in a really tough spot. He needs to draw something like a Tameo here.
Yeah, it just shows you how bad these control decks are getting rolled on. You know, every like control type deck we saw just got rolled so far.
Yeah, and it really hasn't been too close. And I haven't been impressed with any of the control decks yet.
Yeah. All right, there's Gideon. So this is the new Gideon. This Gideon only costs 4 mana. Unlike the last one, Gideon Jorah, 5 mana. Definitely really, really powerful. I feel this Gideon is not as good. The main problem is that the first ability doesn't really have an impact on the game.
Right, exactly. The old Gideon, it changed the entire game. It basically created a sub-game. You have to kill Gideon before you can kill me. This
Exactly.
Gideon, they can just ignore it.
Yeah, and I mean 15 loyalty to do his ultimate, it's a lot.
Yeah, it's just not really reasonable.
Yeah, there you can see it on the screen. I mean, once you get to 15, you get to exile all of the permanents. It has the current type of effect. Most likely you're going to win the game if it's just Gideon and nothing else in play.
What, not sure.
We just switched over for a second.
Yeah, there we go.
Not a big deal. We're back to our main match.
I was going to say, I don't think we were looking away for that long.
There's a Flint Hoof Boar. In response, Eric is going to Tribute to Hunger. So Rich is going to have to sacrifice his Thragtusk.
Yep, Eric will gain 3 life.
Eric should have gained 3 life here.
But now Gideon, it has no defensive ability, so it's just going to attack for 6. Rich is just going to ignore it.
Exactly, yeah. Gideon's more of an aggressive card.
Yeah, definitely is.
Yeah, I don't really see Gideon fitting in Eric's deck, but I mean, we could be wrong here. So he's going to get the Flint Hoof Boar, haste, and I think he's just going to go in Eric's life total. There's no need to attack the Gideon.
No, that Gideon is useless.
Yeah, I think Eric's just reading the Gideon again just to make sure, but
I really just don't like how they designed that Gideon. They designed that Gideon to be good in an aggressive deck against an aggressive deck.
Sure. Well, I mean, it's just something different, you know?
Right.
And then I think Rich is just going to pass the turn here. He doesn't really have another play. He's holding 2 Restoration Angels and 2 Museum Warders.
Yeah, and especially with an opponent at 7, Restoration Angel is pretty scary. It's just always a threat.
There's the Follow You Drown Yard from Eric, but I mean, seriously, people are still playing the Drown Yard because that's like their win condition. But against all these aggressive decks, it's just really bad. It's really bad just to try to Drown Yard your opponent out. It's just too slow and not really going to happen.
Yeah, we haven't seen a game where someone's come close to Drown Yarding someone else out. Where it kind of used to be with the blue-black control decks. That's the only way they'd win.
Exactly.
And it was super consistent, and it usually worked. But now, it just doesn't seem like the right format.
Yeah, honestly, instead of even playing all these Drown Yards, I would just try to have more Jace Memory Adepts, because at least it has another effect in the game.
Yeah.
You could just pump it, draw some cards, pump it, draw some cards. All right, so Gideon's going to attack here. Rich is definitely just going to take this damage. No reason not to.
Yep, Rich is at 18, still 3 swings away from dying to that.
Yeah, now Eric has a Snapcaster in hand, so he's probably going to go Snapcaster or Tribute to Hunger and then declare blocks. That's most likely my guess. All right, so he does target the Tribute to Hunger. And I think Rich right here is just going to have to sacrifice the Beast token, I believe.
Yeah, definitely the Beast token. At least the Flint Hoof board, you can Restoration Angel.
Exactly.
So Eric will gain a little life.
He'll go to 6.
And he'll chump block.
Yeah, I don't think Rich just wants to give a trample. Bring him down to...
Yeah, I would probably pump it up for all my mana but 1 and then play an Havison Pilgrim.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. That's definitely my play. Yeah. Oh, wow. He decides not to. He wants to instead end of turn Restoration Angel. So he's probably going to go Pilgrim, pass, hold up Restoration Angel.
That's fine, too.
Yeah.
That kind of gives him an out to a Supreme Verdict effect.
Sure. So Eric's going to flashback his Think Twice from his graveyard. He'll draw for the turn. It's the Detention Sphere. And he'll draw again, and it's a Watery Grave, it looks like?
Yep, Watery Grave. So nothing that's going to save him from this Restoration Angel.
Yeah, this will just be game right here, because even if he Detention Spheres, tries to target the Flint Hoof Boar, in response, Rich is just going to play Restoration Angel, blink it out, and the Sphere is not going to do anything. Right,
there is a 6 land off screen for Rich Nguyen. So even if none of that happened, the Kessig Wolf Run is still lethal.
He only has 5 lands.
Oh, I thought he had a 6th screen.
No. He doesn't only have 5. His 6th land is the form of Absence Pilgrim.
Absence Pilgrim.
Oh,
right.
wow. Rich is gonna block and then blink. I don't like this play. Rich's life total is not relevant.
I guess he just doesn't want to die to some kind of shenanigans here, as he has Eric just DOB with the resto.
Yeah, but now the fact that did he not declare a block? Did he just put in front of it and then thought about it?
Was he just like dancing with the Gideon?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Well,
sure.
it would be dancing with a pilgrim. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, I'm not too sure here.
It's like he's tanking on the block, but we know it doesn't matter.
So he just buries. He just chump blocks.
No, he just lets it die. He chump blocks.
Maybe Rich realized it was kind of a bad block and then didn't want to main phase the Angel if he didn't have to. All right, regardless, Eric goes through the Attention Sphere. Rich plays Restoration Angel. Eric decided that it's not worth trying to bluff or anything. He just packs it up and moves on to game 2.
Yep, he knows Rich is not going to forget to attack.
Yeah, we are in round 3. Regardless of what the screen says, we're definitely in round 3. Just so you guys know, both these players are 2-0, so these guys' decks are doing pretty good, you know?
Yeah, and you know, I've been really impressed with these Naya aggro decks. I wasn't really that impressed with Naya Humans from last week. I thought that it wasn't really the right build of the deck. I like these decks way more because they have more power. They have less synergy with the humans, but way more power.
Sure. All right, so Rich is going to the sideboard. I'm pretty sure he's going to board out all his volcanic strengths. They're really weak in this matchup. He's going to board out his Mizian Mortars as well. Doesn't really do too much. Instead, he's going to bring in Dorme Rade. He's going to bring in Zealous Conscripts, and he's probably going to bring in both his Ray of Revelations. So he's boarding out 4 Mortars and 3 Volcanic Strengths. That's 7 cards. He's going to go +2 Dorme Rade, +2 Zealous Conscript, +2 Ray of Revelation. That's 6. He's probably going to want to bring in 1 or 2 copies of Boros Charms. And there's a good chance that he wants to bring in 1 or 2 copies of Rest in Peace as well. He did see Think Twice. He did see Snapcaster Mage. So he might just be thinking, hey, you know, even though Rest in Peace is mainly for a Reanimator type strategy, if Eric is playing 4 Snapcaster Mages, he did see 3 Snapcaster Mages this game.
That's true.
So
has to figure the 4th is in there. That's a lot of non-creature spells to be siding in, though. What's he siding out for that?
Well, he's siding out all non-creature spells.
Okay, so
he's boarding out 4 Mizian Mortars and 3 Volcanic Strengths.
Okay, but you think he'll keep in the Rangers guile?
Yeah, I think he'll definitely bring in the keeping the Rangers guile. He has to expect that Eric definitely is running 3 or 4 copies of Azorius Charm, probably a couple Ultimate Prices, and even it can stop a Detention Sphere, which you saw already. Right. But bringing in the Dorme Rade is definitely going to be good, and bringing in the Zealous Conscript is definitely going to be good, just because he could steal the Gideon. And, you know, I mean, the Gideon becomes such a liability for Eric. Eric should not have any Gideons after boarding his deck. I don't think he should have the Gideon in his deck to begin with, in my personal opinion, but he might have tested it a lot, and he might have said, hey, it's been proven good. But definitely after sideboard versus a Naya aggro deck, you don't want to mess around with Gideon.
Right, in this matchup, Gideon's plus will get it to 6, and then, like we saw that game, Rich will just ignore it.
Yeah, and you know, a lot of the pro players are definitely going to be watching, because I know my friend Pat Cox is going to the Pro Tour next weekend, and a couple other players, so they're going to want to see what results are happening in the SCG circuit, because this kind of sets the metagame for the Pro Tour and whatnot.
Exactly, you know, even though it'll only be a rough draft of the metagame, and the pros who are pouring their heart and soul into this format, they're going to know a lot more about it than, say, someone who playtests for a few hours for an SCG Open.
Yeah.
It's still going to give them a baseline. It's still going to let them know what has potential, what doesn't.
Yeah, and
some ideas too.
Exactly. And when I did commentary right before Pro Tour Dark Ascension, I was leaving a couple days later. The Esper Spirit deck that everyone gave credit to Saya Black to actually made top 4, either top 4 or top 8, at the Star City event that I was doing coverage at. So I was surprised that no one really gave the player who made top 8 credit for it as well.
Right, they give Sam Black credit, but that's just because he's the big name.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, if you want to come out with one of your decks, you're definitely making a presence known, because your deck definitely warps the metagame.
Especially in a tournament like this, where this is the second week the set's legal, the week before the Pro Tour. This is really just the perfect scenario.
Exactly, yeah. So, because the Pro Tour is the same exact format as this.
Right.
10 rounds of standard, 6 rounds of draft at the Pro Tour. Here, we have 9 rounds of standard. So after 9 rounds of standard and the top 8, it's really going to show which decks will rise to the top.
So looking at Eric's sideboard, he actually has quite a few tools for this matchup. He has Sever the Bloodline, he has Jace Memory Adept if he wants it. I don't think it's the matchup. He has Terminus, he has Blind Obedience, and he has Dungeon Geist. So that's a total of 7, maybe 8 cards he wants to bring in.
Yeah, he has a lot of really unique choices, Eric.
Yeah, I really like Dungeon Geist. I think that's a great card for this event.
With no Drunk Skull Reaver, Captain?
Yeah, because we're seeing way less Searing Spears, and we're just seeing a lot more of the Thragtusk kind of, well, the Thragtusk Resurgent, the Ghost Council.
Sure.
Not that great against Ghost Council, admittedly, but...
But I get your point. It's fighting as creatures, and if people are removing their Searing Spheres, and they're trading their removal for, like, Pillar of Flame, or, like, Izzet-Charm, for example, having the 3 toughness is slightly relevant.
Exactly. So, we're just not seeing the kind of removal that makes Dungeon Geist not that good. There hasn't been that much of it.
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
So I think what he'll be taking out some number of Jace Architect of Thought, Gideon's, of course, maybe taking out some Snapcaster Mages. I'm not sure if he has that much time to mess around with those in this, because he doesn't have much 2-mana removal.
Yeah. So they're doing a lot of shuffling. They have just under 30 minutes to finish the next 2 games. You know, if Eric wins game 2, it could go a long game 2, so they might be short on time. We saw last round that there was actually a draw. And again, you really don't want to pick up draws if you could avoid them.
Yeah, especially in a tournament like this, because it's 9 rounds, and oftentimes you'll have to play out the last round anyway.
Yeah, lots of times if you want to make the final 8 cut, if you want to make it to the top 8, you're going to have to go X and 1. Sometimes X101 will get you 9th, 10th place.
Exactly. There's nothing more heartbreaking than to start 1-1-1 to win 6 rounds in a row and then to not make top 8.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so we'll see if both players keep, and we'll see what happens this game.
Yep, so Eric going to be on the play for this one, and we'll see what he has. Looks like he's keeping. Rich thinking about it.
Yeah. I think Rich's hand is just not that aggressive, maybe one too many Rangers Guiles. I'm not too sure. Do you think both players will keep?
I think Eric's already kept.
Oh, no, he didn't.
Oh, weird.
All right, so Eric was actually the one that was debating, and Rich decided to keep.
Okay, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how these Rangers Guiles are, because Eric has Tribute to Hunger. Eric has no Liliana, actually, which kind of surprises me.
Yeah.
Card that's missing from his deck. He's more blue-white, splashing the black.
Sure, definitely. So Eric's going to pile his deck. He's going to, chat it up with Rich here. Maybe gain some information. What do you think about that?
No.
Do you ever do that when you play or no?
Not really. I feel like it's way better to just have a good friendly match of Magic. If you don't want to talk to your opponent because you don't want to give anything away, that's fine. Don't talk to your opponent. But the people that talk to their opponents constantly trying to get things out of them, I don't know. I feel like maybe you're playing the wrong game if that's what you're looking to do.
Sure. There's definitely a couple of schools. Old school Magic, maybe more players, some friendly banter or whatnot. Nowadays, it's just pretty much shuffle up, you play, wish your opponent good luck, and that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, if you match Osip up against Paul Ritzel, you're going to have a match with some talking.
Definitely.
Maybe some trash talking, but these 2 new players, I don't think so.
Yeah. Once again, I'm Gerard Fabiano here with Zach Hall. We're coming live to you from SCG Edison. So I'm definitely excited to see which deck is going to take down the tournament.
Yeah, I already called it. I think it's going to be a red-green deck, although I'm going to hedge a little bit. I'm going to say a deck with at least 15 mountains.
At least 15 mountains?
15 mountains.
Wow, okay, that's a lot of mountains.
It's a lot of mountains. It's 15 mountains. That's 4 Sacred Foundry and 4 Clifftop, or 15...
Wait, are you counting Clifftop?
What's that?
15 red sources.
15 mountains.
Okay, well, Clifftop is not a mountain.
Well, yeah.
So, all right, so Eric leads off with a Glacial Fortress. It's coming into play tapped. It looks like Richard does have a turn 1 Avacyn's Pilgrim, so he's probably should have paid 2 life off the Temple Garden and slam down the Pilgrim, get his mana accelerated and whatnot.
Exactly, the 2 life, well worth it to get that Pilgrim out there. By far the most important 1-drop in his deck.
I really like the design of Avacyn's Pilgrim. There was Bird of Paradise, which was a staple forever. A lot of people thought that they would bring back Noble Hierarch, but I think Avacyn's Pilgrim is definitely neat here, and it fits into a lot of decks.
Yeah, it seemed so unimpressive at first. It's like, well, why would I want to play a green-white deck? But as this block unfolded, it's proven to be really, really good.
Exactly. So it looks like Rich did board in Rest in Peace, because I see he drew on this turn. So he doesn't really want to play a turn 2 Rest in Peace because that doesn't really have an effect on the game right now. You more want to try to build your board, build some sort of attack, and then later in the game when Eric's trying to set up a Snapcaster Mage, just go for it then.
Exactly. It's good too also because once Eric commits to playing Lingering Souls, maybe he'll be counting on that Lingering Souls in his graveyard to stave off death, and then bam, Rest in Peace.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, the Rest in Peace stops Lingering Souls, stops Think Twice, stops Snapcaster Mage, and on the off occasion it could stop something like an Angel Serenity.
Right. It stops the 1 Elixir of Immortality in Eric's sideboard too.
Yeah, I don't think Eric's bringing that in.
No, 5 life?
Nah,
Probably not.
We saw it in round 1 when Mike Flores' opponent had it. Just kind of was stuck in his hand, didn't really do too much.
So Rich here, tanking on a second turn.
Yeah, definitely taking a while.
He has 2 Burning Tree Emissaries, which is why he's trying to figure out exactly what he wants to do here.
Yeah, I think he might want to go Emissary, Rest in Peace. I think that's going to be his line, and not attack with a Pilgrim.
Yeah, interesting. I'm not sure what the Rest in Peace does right now. I think 1 damage might be more valuable.
Yeah, I mean, I think he just wants to get it out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like he is going to go with your line.
Sure.
So 6 permanents on turn 2 for Rich Win.
Yeah, definitely really powerful. And he'll pass the turn. So Eric's going to draw his card for his turn. I mean, Eric's really banking on a Supreme Verdict here.
Yeah, if he doesn't have Supreme Verdict, this game's going to be over very fast.
Oh, there's a Detention Sphere. Taking out both Burning Tree Emissaries.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Rich, Ranger's Guile that's in his hand doesn't do anything against that. Right?
Yeah, he's going to have to sit back and hopefully draw one of his 2 Ray Revelations that I'm almost certain he boarded in.
Right.
He did draw a Loxodon Smiter this turn, so that's going to come down. And he also has Kessig Wolfram in his hand. So even though Eric had a powerful turn 3 play, I think Rich still has a slight advantage.
Yeah, that Kessig Wolf run threatens to make the Loxodon Smiter a 6/4 next turn.
Sure.
With the help of the Absence Builder. That's going to cut into Eric's life total really fast.
Yeah, Eric plays a Godless Shrine, paying the 2 life, and I think it's going to be a Supreme Verdict, and it is. So Supreme Verdict's going to pretty much 2 for 1 in Eric's favor, and he'll pass a turn being tapped out.
Yeah, see, this is why I don't like Rest in Peace. Eric 2-for-1's Rich a couple times, now all of a sudden he has these cards, a Ranger's Guile, a Rest in Peace. These just don't do anything.
Sure. And yeah, Rich just has no threat whatsoever. Rich really needed right there something like a Dorme Rade or just any threat whatsoever.
Right.
Like a Flint Hoofboard would have been great there.
Here's another Smiter, so can't be countered.
Yeah, Smiter off the top for Rich.
And finally the Wolf Run will come into play.
Let's see what Eric decides to do at his end of turn. Think Twice. So right there, Rest in Peace did do something, stopping a flashback, a potential flashback Think Twice.
Sure.
So why not?
Yeah, it also, more importantly, makes all the Snapcasters just into 2/1 Ambush Vipers.
Yeah. So there's 4 mana, and we're going to see a Dungeon Geist. All right, so he did take your advice, didn't bring in Dungeon Geist. So do you think Rich is just going to blow his Ranger's Guile here? I think he probably should.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. All right. So he plays Ranger Guile, which is also removed from the game. Sure, it's not.
Rich, though, out of cards, he's drawing off the top.
Yeah, definitely drawing off the top. At least he has the Wolf Run to kind of help him out here. But I think Eric had a Tribute to Hunger in his hand, which is going to be really powerful.
If he did, that would come close to locking this one up.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure what Rich is thinking about here. He has 1 play and 1 play only.
Did you see what he drew or no? Because
No.
that could definitely... I mean, his play is definitely going to be attack, but if he drew something that he could play before combat, he might want to do that.
I see what you're saying, yep. And it looks like it is. It's like 2 mana, might be a Burning Tree Emissary.
Not too sure. It's like separating his mana. It is... Is it really a Burning Tree Emissary? That would kind of make some sense because he could filter the mana and then use it on the Wolf Run. Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
So here it is, Wolf Run for 2.
Yeah, it's going to be a Wolf Run for 2.
Dash for 6. That drops Eric to 11.
Yeah, 11
Richard's
life.
still at 18.
Yeah, and that was actually a pretty good draw because at least that creature could suck up the Tribute to Hunger.
Exactly. That's maybe one of the best draws in his deck, short of something like the Thragtusk. It lets him get in for the full 6, keep that pressure up, add another creature to the board.
Sure. All right, so Eric's probably going to swing in here with Dungeon Geist, which he does. I mean, he's eventually going to have to kill Richard, He's not going to do it with the Valley Drown Yard, so he's going to have to go for the damage. So it looked like Eric kind of... Ooh. Alright, so he decides to Supreme Verdict here, which is fine. But the Dungeon Geist does die. Yeah. Alright, everything becomes removed from the game because of Rest in Peace. And I think Rich just drew a Subpetal Grove, some form of land. He'll probably just hold on to it and pass the turn.
Yep, holding it up as a bluff, maybe a potential Restoration Angel.
Yeah, it just makes your opponent think more. I mean, if you just played your land, your hands face up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So here we go. We're looking at a D-Sphere on the Rest in Peace. I'm kind of surprised about that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what he has to make him D-Sphere that, but...
Yeah, I would much rather hold my Detention Spheres. Just for, like, creatures or whatnot.
Yeah, like a Flint Hoop War, for example.
Yeah. Removing that Rest in Peace doesn't really do too much. Alright, so the Flint Hoof Boar is going to come in for 3 points of damage. Oh no, Eric is going to decide to use his Tribute to Hunger that he's been holding.
Yep, so that'll bring him up to 14.
Yeah.
And Richard Nguyen, once again, left only with a land in hand.
Yeah, I'm still shocked about the Detention Sphere play. I mean, I can't even imagine what Eric might have in his hand.
Well, if he had a Snapcaster Mage to go with that Tribute...
Yeah, that would make some
good.
sense.
I think Eric's almost out of cards, too. He has
Is it a Snapcaster?
one left.
I mean, if the last card is Snapcaster, it's somewhat understandable, but I still would rather hold the Detention Sphere for just something else.
Looks like he drew a Detention Sphere.
Yeah.
So Rich would just love to keep drawing Hasters, failing that a Thragtusk.
Yeah, just anything pretty much. Or Ray Revelation.
Yeah, or Millerave level.
Yeah.
That would be a big game right there.
Yeah. He would get back 2 creatures, so... Alright, so maybe Eric can mill him out? I feel like Rich wants a card like Sigarda or something in his sideboard. Ooh, Sphinx of Revelation for 3. That's definitely going to shift the game a bit more into Eric's favor.
Yeah, and all Rich was thinking was, please mill me, please mill me,
yeah,
please
exactly,
mill me.
Yeah. So there's a Think Twice, a Watery Grave, and a Dungeon Geist.
Wow, yep, so Eric does not draw another Sphinx's Revelation, but does have some spells to play with here.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, if that last card in his hand was a Snapcaster Mage, he could always Snapcaster back with Sphinx's Revelation.
Yeah.
Alright, so one of Rich's draws the past few turns was a Restoration Angel, so he's going to drop that into play. Alright.
And that'll come in for 3. We'll see if he pumps it with the Wolf Run.
Yeah.
It'll depend on what he drew this turn, I guess.
I mean, if I was Rich right here, I think I'll be fine just dealing 3 points of damage. Yeah, and this... Oh, he passed... there's a Snapcaster. So this last card was Snapcaster. So D-Sphearing the Rest of the Piece makes a bit more sense right now. And yeah, Eric's just in complete control of this game. Now, the thing that both players have to be aware of is that Rich could win a game in 5 minutes.
Oh, he definitely can. Yeah.
Eric can't win a game in 5 minutes.
No chance.
Yeah.
Can't defy a Drown Yard summon in 5 minutes, let alone 10.
Exactly. And Rich had a pretty good draw this turn. The new Planeswalker from Gatecrash, Dorme Rade. So he's going to throw it and hopefully reveal, I mean, if it resolves, which it will because Eric's tapped out, a creature. So let's see.
Nope.
No, it's not a creature.
Which means it's probably a land, because there aren't that many spells in his deck.
Exactly. And I mean, if it is a spell, he wants it to be something like a Ray Revelation.
Right.
So if Eric is going to win this game, he's going to want to try to win the game either with no time on the clock or with about 12 minutes. He doesn't really want to give Rich a chance to play game 3 with 5 minutes because it's just a free roll for Rich.
Exactly. It's kind of an awkward spot to be in with the clock management aspect of this Esper control deck.
Exactly.
With any Nephalia Drown Yard deck.
Yeah. So Eric decides to, keep Dorme Rade in check. He doesn't want him to get ultimate because once it does, it's really dangerous. Ooh, Zealous Conscript.
So Rich put it right into his hand instead of revealing it, but as we can see, it was a creature. Not a big deal. And Zealous Conscript's not a bad draw.
Definitely not. I think Rich wants to play out all his lands because he wants as many lands as possible in play for a Kessig Wolfrod activation.
For sure.
And now that Eric knows about the Zealous Conscripts, it's not like he's going to have a Tamiyo and bring it up to 8 and then pass it to,
Yeah, there's... Actually, the fact that Eric knows about the conscripts means that I would just play this as a 3/3 haste right here. Start getting in some damage while you can.
Yeah, sure. Steal a Snapcaster Mage.
Yeah.
Hit him for 5 this turn. Why not?
Exactly. The Dorme Rade will go to 1 from the counter swing, but it doesn't really matter as long as it's not at 0.
Yeah.
The emblem is not really realistic this game. So.
Yeah, this game is going to be unlikely for Rich to to get one of the emblems, but we'll see what happens. So Rich is going to play the Zealous Conscripts. Now the clock is definitely in Rich's favor. Rich won the first game, and Rich is playing the more aggressive bet.
Yeah, I mean, there's no guarantee that Eric can win this game in 15 minutes, let alone win a game 3.
Exactly, yeah. But as of now, I think Eric has the advantage. He's going to mill him. There's a Mizium. Oh, he decides to leave a Mizium Mortars, at least 1 copies. Kind of surprised about that. I guess he's worried about multiple Lingering Souls.
Right, I think that must be it.
And then Eric also cycles to Think Twice.
It's kind of amazing that Rave Revelation hasn't been hit yet, because when it does, yeah, you can kind of see Rich rubbing his hands there. He's like, come on, Ray, come on, Ray.
All right, so Snapcaster's going to hit the Dorme Rade, bringing it down to 1.
And at 1, though, it can still activate its plus, which is the relevant ability here.
Ooh, okay, so Dungeon Geist is going to tap down Zealous Conscripts after Eric plays a Watery Grave. So Rich is drawn pretty slim here. Let's see if he gets a lucky draw.
He really needs a Mizium Mortars.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess Mizium Mortar also takes out the Dungeon Geist, but he probably doesn't know about them.
Yeah, he didn't know about them after game 1. I'm also kind of curious as to why he left him in.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just 1, 2.
I think Boros Charm would be much more devastating, being able to have something to counter a Supreme Verdict, essentially.
Right. So now Rich will pump up his Dome Ray.
Yeah.
That's the first thing he should do here.
What does Rich have in hand? Is it an Absence Pilgrim or is it a Flint Hoof Boar?
I can't tell.
So he checks, not a creature. The Dorme Ride is great. I mean, it kind of works like a baby Jace. When you don't hit a creature, it just doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
You know? Just looking at the top part of your library. All right, so it was an Absence Pilgrim, and he should have passed the turn.
Yeah, you know, it doesn't seem like a very impressive draw, Absence Pilgrim, but at the same time, with Kessig Wolfron, that's +5/+0 that he's representing.
Yeah.
And any creature that Rich draws is a big deal for Eric.
Yeah.
Although Eric's hand is very stacked.
Yeah, it really is.
2 removal spells, a Think Twice, and a Detention Sphere.
So Dungeon Geist will take out the Dorme Rade. Zealous Conscript will remain tapped. As long as Dungeon Geist is in play, it's going to remain tapped. So Rich draws for his turn. Thinking about his option, he has more than enough lands in play.
Reading the Dungeon Geist.
Reading the Dungeon Geist once again.
Trying to figure out if he gains control of it, if anything happens.
A second Zealous Conscripts. So
did he not reveal that off Don? Oh, no.
No, he just drew for
I think he got milled.
I think he might untap his own Zealous Conscripts. How does that work with the interaction with Dungeon Geist?
Well, it's still never going to untap, but it can stay back as a blocker.
Exactly, to block the Snapcaster Mage.
Right.
So I think that might have some... Here, can you look up Dungeon Geist for us, please? I want to get the exact wording. Maybe we could bring it up on screen as well for everybody.
Yeah, we'll get it up on the screen there.
Dungeon Geist, a card from Dark Ascension. So, even though Dark Ascension seems not too long ago, it actually has been. Yeah, so he could have untapped it, but it just wouldn't have done anything else. So, but there's Dungeon Geist, 4 mana, 3/2 flyer. Definitely a powerful card. Doesn't really see play.
No, not much right now.
Not much.
It's really, really good. I think it might be even better right now than it ever has been. Oh, so no Rare Revelation still. Did he not side them in?
I mean, it's hard to believe that he wouldn't board in Rare Revelations when he saw Detention Spheres game 1.
Right, and when he left in Mizium Mortars.
Exactly. Alright, so Eric draws for his turn. I see a couple of lands in his hand.
And here we are. We're at that 12-minute mark we were talking about earlier.
Alright, there's another Detention Sphere.
Wow.
So he's going to take both Zealous Conscripts.
And imagine if a Ray gets milled.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's only 1, but it's still good because it takes both Zealous Conscripts back.
Right.
If it resolves. Alright, Boros Reckoner. A decent draw here, especially with a Kessig Wolfram in play.
Yeah. Any creature is good for Rich right now.
Ooh, this is the new Edict from Gatecrash. It's 2 mana, 1 less than the Tribute to Hunger. It is called
Blind Obedience. Nope. I don't see it on here. I didn't even think he was playing it. I didn't see it in the deck list. Oh, 1X. That's why. Devour Flesh.
Yeah, one Devour Flesh, yes. Alright, Dungeon Geist is getting in there again. Even though it looks like Eric's going to almost certainly win game 2, it's going to be really tough for him to win this match. And I think Rich knows this as well. because Rich could just scoop it up here, but there's really no need to.
Definitely not. I would scoop it about 6-7 minutes.
No, you definitely want more than 6 or 7 minutes because it's 3 minutes to shuffle. You probably want about 9 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Proper clock management is not really talked about that often, but definitely a big deal in this kind of matchup.
Yeah. You can't change the pace of your play, but you could decide if you want to concede or continue to play.
Exactly. You can change when you scoop.
Yeah.
So Rich just drawing another land here. Eric just beating him down with the 3/3. That's all he's got. And really, when the man lands rotated out, the Celestial Colonnade and the Creeping Tar Pit, these Espers, these like Esper-style control decks, they really, it's hard for them to close out a game.
Yeah, they're too reliant on the Folly of Drownyard, but it's just so slow lots of times.
Yeah.
Unless you have double Drownyard going.
Yeah, and Rich, I don't think Rich boarded in the raise. A change he'll surely make for the next game.
All right, there's a Ghost Council. So that will definitely help speed up the clock.
Yep.
And another Temple Garden, so he scoops it up just about 10-minute mark. So it looks like Eric's in kind of a rough spot. The only way I can see Eric really winning is if he wants to go for the win here and kind of alters how he sideboards. I can see him bringing in more and more aggressive type style cards and kind of boarding out slower type cards just to try to win in 8 or 9 minutes.
Yeah, he might board in both of his Jace Memory Adepts for that reason. He'll definitely keep all 3 Dungeon Geists in. Might even board in Blind Obedience.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. Blind Obedience, like why not, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he should have Blind Obedience in anyway because of the Foot Hoof Boars and the Restoration Angels and just gaining life against an aggressive deck is really relevant.
Yeah, I think, well, if I was Eric, I would be changing up my sideboard a good amount for this last game. I might even board it, boarding back in the Gideon, it's a little sketchy, but at the same time, you have to win somehow.
Yeah, it is really sketchy because he saw multiple Zealous conscripts.
Yeah.
But why not? I mean,
it's kind of tough to settle for a draw in round 3 of the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, if you're like 5-0 and you draw, 5-0-1 is fine because there's a greater chance that something like a 7-1-1 record will make the top 8.
Yeah, that's one thing, but 2-0-1, it's a little less.
Yeah, and I mean, lots of times people come out because they just want to play and they want to, determine a winner. Magic Online doesn't have any draws. It's like, what's a draw really? It's 1 point for each player, where the winner is 3. So it really de-incentivizes someone trying to get a draw.
Yeah, it's not ideal for either player here, for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
And there you see Rich. He's shuffling pretty fast. He knows that the time's running low. Eric actually surprisingly looks the one that's less concerned about it.
Yeah, Eric is just a really relaxed guy.
He's got all the time in the world.
Yeah, he plays at the store in Pennsylvania that my friend actually co-owns, and he's always there playing Standard. Wednesday Night Magic Standard, Friday Night Magic Standard, and they have Sunday tournaments 2 Standard. So Eric is just a huge Standard guy. And Esper Planeswalkers has always been his pet deck. Even back when Jason the Mind Sculptor and Gideon and Elspeth Knight Errant were around, that's what he was playing, and he continues on. I kind of like those people a lot. They have one deck, like Pat Sullivan, mono red. Classic example. Mono red, always going to play mono red.
Cedric Phillips, Kithkin, always going to play Kithkin in Legacy.
He plays Dredge as well.
He does.
Yeah. I think just because he had his major success with Kithkin, it kind of holds a good heart, a good spot in his heart. But yeah, I mean, and it also is really good because you become so familiar with the deck.
Exactly, and the cards might change from season to season, but at the same time, they all serve the same roles.
Yeah,
you know what roles you need for what matchups, and you know how to sideboard,
and the style of the deck is always the same.
Right.
Whether it be mono red or
it makes you a better player.
Yeah, it really does.
It might make you a more focused player, but definitely better at that deck.
Lots of times, some of the players try to just pick up a combo deck or pick up a control deck, and they're not really too sure about the strategy. Even a more advanced player might have a problem with it.
Yeah, when I try and play aggro decks at tournaments, I'm so not used to it that I really just play a lot worse than I would with a control deck.
All right, so Rich is definitely going to be on the play here. Hopefully both these players get to keep their 7, and we have a nice game 3.
It looks like they're both good, and with 6:40 on the clock, here we go.
All right, so an aggressive start by Rich. Temple Garden, bringing him down to 18 life, and he's leading off with the Absence Pilgrim, and I do see a turn 2 locks it on Smiter.
Wow, that's huge.
Yeah, it really is.
And here we go. Oh, it's a Burning Tree Emissary into a Smiter too.
Wow, that's even better.
Oh! So turn 2, 9 power.
That is just insane.
Turn 2 9 power. Welcome to standard.
Yeah, I'm gonna really be proud of Eric if he somehow pulls out of this one. It's like
that would be really impressive. It would probably start with a Lingering Souls on turn 3,
which is gonna be way too slow.
Yeah, he would have to go Souls into Verdict. That's his chance.
All right, there's a Godless Shrine. Definitely doesn't want to pay the 2 life here if he doesn't need to.
No. And here comes 9.
Yeah, 9 points of damage. Eric's gonna fall down to 11. Imagine if he just went like land Foot Hoof Bore as well.
I think he's going Land Smiter or Land Reckoner.
Yeah, I think he wants to play Reckoner here. No, Smiter's better, right?
I'm not
Either way,
sure.
it's lethal.
Yeah. I'd say Smiter's better post-Wrath, so save the Smiter.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I don't even know if it is.
Yeah, so right now he's going to need a Souls. Does a Tribute to Hanger help him? He goes to 12. So that's...
No.
Souls. Well, Tribute,
oh, yeah, it does. It would leave him at 1.
Yeah, so Rich actually should have played Smiter, playing around the Tribute to Hunger.
Yeah.
So there's a Souls.
He didn't want to get D-sphered, I think is what it is.
Yeah.
So he'll block Pilgrim and he'll block Smiter. Taking 11? No, I'm sorry. Yeah, taking 11. Dropping to...
No, he's not taking 11. He blocks the two biggest guys, yeah.
He blocked the Smiter, that's right, too. Taking 7, dropping to 4.
Yeah.
And now Rich will, of course, just say go because he only loses to Supreme Verdict.
Exactly. There's no need to play the second Loxodon on Smiter here. So it's pretty much Supreme Verdict or bust.
Land go.
And it's not in Eric's hand. Well, there's a Dungeon Geist.
That does not keep him alive. No.
It doesn't keep him alive.
There's a Tribute to Hunger, goes up to 6. Goes down to -3, no.
Flashback Souls.
Snapcaster to block, maybe?
I mean, Ultimate Price just does nothing here as well.
Yeah, wow.
All of Rich's guys are multicolored. Yeah.
Embarrassing against this deck.
Yeah, really bad.
So I saw that the judge put a die down. Our round timer might be wrong. They might be out of time.
Not too sure, yeah. No. Maybe they're just preparing for it, I'm not sure. But either way, Rich only needs one more turn. Otherwise, Eric's going to stabilize and the game's going to go longer anyway.
Exactly. And the second that Eric didn't slam down the Supreme Verdict,
all right,
Rich
and that's game, yep.
There it is.
All right, so Rich win, times the clock pretty perfectly, and just got a busted draw in game 3.
Yeah, and I can understand why he played this deck now. Burning Tree Emissary, it's